Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Tipped. Max with you for the weekend ads for week 20 of fantasy hockey season, where I go over the best available options under 70%. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. On Friday, we have 3 games, Saturday we have 13 games, and on Sunday we have 6 games. For the Friday and Saturday section, we only have 2 teams, the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia Flyers, who are both pretty deep for fantasy purposes. Drake Batterson at number 1, he's the clear-cut number 1. He's got 4 points in the last 3 games. We also have Owen Tippett, who doesn't hit as much as usual, but he's gotten 10 shots in 2 of the last 4 games, which is absolutely crazy. 21 goals, 36 points on this season. Shane Pinto at number 3 is really going under the radar right now. He's got 13 points in 15 games since returning from injury, with a nice +8 differential. He centers the PP1 and plays with Tarasenko and Brady Tkachuk on line 2. And with Josh Norris, who's going to be absent for the next couple days, maybe week, he might get even more opportunities. Speaking of Tarasenko, he's got 38 points this season with a +15 differential. At number 5, Tyson Forster, who was out for a couple of weeks. He scored in both games since being back, totaling 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points with 7 shots, 3 hits, and 1 block. Mathieu Joseph is taking advantage of his first-line gig so far. He's got 5 points in the last 6 games. Scott Laughton is also on fire. He's riding a 7-game point streak from the 4th line. It doesn't matter where he is in the lineup. This guy is the real deal when you want quality depth for your fantasy lineup. Morgan Frost is the first-line center and PP1 center in Philadelphia, but he still isn't entirely trustworthy. Sean Couturier suffers a massive drop in the rankings this week, mostly because he's being paired with sloppy wingers recently and even played 4th-line minutes last game. Joel Farabee, 2 assists in the last 8 games, but he remains on line 1 and PP1 option. He's a high-risk, high-reward. For Friday and Sunday, we have 4 teams, the Anaheim Ducks, the Arizona Coyotes, the New Jersey Devils, and the Washington Capitals. Speaking of the Capitals, Dylan Strome is riding a 5-game point streak and has 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points in the last 12 games. Tom Wilson is a great gamble right now as well. Keep lurking to catch him on the waiver wire. His shot and hitting volume should be good for fantasy playoffs, and he's back on line 1 with Ovechkin. Don't give up on him. Lawson Krause at number 3, 3 points in the last 4 games with 13 shots and 14 hits. Amazing floor here. Timo Meier is being used as a first-line winger right now with Ishier and Bratt and looks appealing for shallow league weekend pickups. Mason McTavish, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points in the last 6 games. Worth noting, 3 of those games were multi-pointers. Adam Henrique has 3 points in the last 4 games, 8 shots, 30 face-offs, 9 blocks and 7 blocks. 9 hits and 7 blocks, That's a beauty of a stat line. We also have Nick Schmaltz, who has 34 points and is a power play specialist with 16 in 54 games. He plays line 1 and PP1, of course. Max Pacioretty has a goal, 3 assists, 4 points in the last 5 games, including 2 power play points. Matias Maccelli, 4 points in the last 4 games. He comes with the risk that he does no peripherals at all. Anthony Manta has 8 points in the last 6 games. Not bad for a 2% rostered player. Dawson Mercer is pointless in the last 6 games, but we can never count him out as he plays with Jack Hughes at the moment of filming this video. Alex Kerfoot, first line, PP1 in Arizona. He's got 33 points on the season and he's nearing career highs. Nick Bjugstad, his teammate, has 3 points in the last 3 games, gives you shots, hits, face-offs. From the 3rd line, he also plays with Lawson Krause and Maccelli. And finally, first-line center in Anaheim, Leo Carlsson, who hasn't scored a goal yet in 2024, but has quite a few assists and opportunities with the Ducks. For the Saturday and Sunday segment, that's where we get busy. We have the Buffalo Sabres, the Edmonton Oilers, Minnesota Wild, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Jose Sharks, and Winnipeg Jets. At number 1, Dylan Cousins. I've personally streamed him in 2 leagues since last week, so I'm going to ride him here. He's been really good to me. He's only had 2 games in a row without a point since January 15th. Very consistent, 4 power play points off the PP1 in the last 7 games. At number 2, first line winger to Sidney Crosby, Ricard Raquel. He's got 5 points in the last 5 games with shots and hits coming in each of the last 9 games. Gabe Vilardi, Mr. Streaky himself, after 6 pointless games, he's got 10 points in the last 5 games. Sean Monahan should be back from illness and take his line 2 PP1 duties back. With Thomas Hertl and Logan Couture out long term, Mikael Granlund is the man in San Jose. He'll get a ton of ice time, PP1 and line 1 duties. Granlund is a high risk, high reward gamble, but I'm leaning on the high reward here. Nikolai Ehlers has fallen into the Michelli tier kind of players. He's still a lethal threat when he's on, and I don't mind him as a streamer. Ryan Hartman back on line 2, still PP2, 3 assists in the last 4 games. Casey Middlestad, second line, PP2 option in Buffalo. Drew O'Connor, line 2 with Malkin. He has an interesting stat line of 3 goals, 3 assists in the last 6 games. Also a good shot volume. Marco Rossi, PP2 in Minnesota. Adam Lowry, no power play, but great all around. Shots, hits, blocks. You know the deal. Marcus Johansson is on a 2-game point streak, plays line 2, PP2 in Minnesota. And whoever gets the first line gig with McDavid is never a bad option, but it doesn't always give the expected result. Therefore, Janmark, Perry, or Fuego could be decent option this weekend. And finally, Valtteri Pustinen. He completes the line of Malkin and O'Connor and randomly has a 3-game point streak and has 8 shots during that stretch. Deep league killer ad, maybe. Now on to defensemen. Travis Sanheim at number 1. The first 2 Ds here are not PP1, but that doesn't mean they aren't valuable. Sanheim has been too hot to ignore. He's got a 3-game point streak and has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points, and 20 blocks in the last 7 games. Thomas Chabot, PP2 in Ottawa, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points in the last 4 games. He's been hot. Sean Durzee's PP1 in Arizona, and on top of having 30 points this season, he has 116 blocks. Brock Faber, PP1D in Minnesota. He ended his 5-game skid last game with his 30th assist of the season. Plays a ton, gets decent blocks, good option. Matthias Ekholm, always good option with the offense surrounding him. Good peripherals, PP2 option. Jake Sanderson has been up and down and lacks consistency, but he does hold the PP1 spot in Ottawa, which makes him an appealing option this weekend. Marcus Pettersson, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points in the last 5 games. He's a phenomenal plus 23 on the season. Mario Ferraro doesn't do a lot of points. He is not a scoring machine, but you have one of the safest floors in the NHL with him. He's nearing 100 shots, 100 hits, and he's the 3rd best shot blocker on average in the NHL. He also plays PP2 now. Speaking of good floors, Neil Pionk, PP2, a little bit of everything. Luke Hughes as number 10, very low peripheral. He's high risk, high reward. He does play on the PP1 of an amazing offensive team, but he's still not my favorite option. Cam Fowler, PP1 in Anaheim, another high risk, high reward offensive defenseman. Radko Gudas, elite hitter, great shot blocker, great floor here, safe with a plus 11 ratio on a bad team. Rasmus Sandin, PP2 defenseman in Washington. And finally, Declan Chisholm. This guy came out of nowhere and he has 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points in 5 games. He is on the PP2 in Minnesota. And he also got 10 blocks in 5 games, which makes him super interesting. Now for the Sunday goalies, Gus or Fleury against San Jose, of course. Obviously the best option, worst team of the league, is San Jose. Charlie Lindgren or Darcy Kemper against Arizona. Arizona has 12 straight losses at the time of making this video, making a Capitals goalie a high target this weekend. Laurent Brossoit has been really good every time he's called upon, so I'll trust him here, even though Buffalo might not be an easy matchup. Calvin Pickard at home against Pittsburgh. If he gets the Sunday matchup, he is very appealing. Edmonton are on a different level right now. Pittsburgh have Genzel and Rust out. David Riddick or Cam Talbot against New Jersey at home. Don't care who's in front of the net. I like the Kings at home. And finally, 6K or Eric Comrie. Winnipeg has been top-notch, but Buffalo could be a trap game. 6K or Comrie, worst-case scenario, isn't that bad if nothing else is available. Now let's jump into the category section. We'll start with the shots. Owen Tippett, 3.8. Shane Pinto, 3.1. Couturier and Nealers, 2.9. Cam Atkinson, JJ Peterka, 2.8. We also have Timo Meyer, 2.7. Cousins, 2.6. Villardi, 2.5. For the blocks, Mario Ferraro, 2.9. Sealer, 2.9. Ryan Pollock, 2.7. Lyubushkin and Brodin, 2.5. And Radko Gudas at 2.3. For the hits, Garnet Hathaway 3.7, Gudas 3.6, Delorier 3.2, Kyle Burrows 3.1, Brendan Dillon, Jack McBain 3, Beck Melensign 2.9, Liam O'Brien 2.8, and Neil Pionk 2.7. For faceoffs, Couturier 10.6, Lowry and Monahan 8.5, 8.2, Bjugstad 8.2, Dylan Strome and Adam Henrique at 8, Nico Sturm at 7.7, McTavish 7.2, and Mikael Granlund 7.1. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you find what you need. I hope you get a big W this weekend. Playoffs are right around the corner. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys soon.